I don't want to sing.
Okay, here we go. Bye 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 bye. Bye 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 bye.
I'm not singing.
Oh,
That's
Allie
a waste of
Bailey.
energy.
Just because you're in a youth hostel in Bristol doesn't mean that you can't join in with the do battery. How are you? How are you, Allie Bailey?
I'm all right. I'm a bit tired, but I'm actually doing quite well.
You're a bit tired. What have you been up to?
Not much. I've been hanging out with Lorna for a whole week, and she's been chewing my ear off.
Really?
And I'm exhausted with her.
Really?
She's so needy.
You said that before. You said that before. So listeners, so this is an interesting one. So we've got we're speaking to Allie because Allie, of course, is it your first week of Run Brit, or was it first 10 days of Run Brit? I don't know exactly. How many days?
7. So this week's a 7-day week. So like every week is. So it's a 7-day week. It's got 7 days in it for the first time ever. But we've been running for 7 days. Today's day. What day is today? Day 8. Is today day 8? I'm asking someone up there, and she's ignoring me.
I mean,
yes, today's
it
day 8.
aligns with the actual date. It's quite easy to remember. If I just stick with that, stick with looking at the date, right, to know what the day is as well.
The thing is, right, I've gone into ultra mentalism where I feel like I'm on drugs, but I'm not. Like, so I'm just like, what? Like, I can't even order a fucking coffee without being like, oh.
So you need a pacer for even for your days off.
Yeah, that's why I need a pacer for my days off. And do you know what Lorna's done? Fucked off to see her mum. And I'm sat here in my prison bed going, I don't know what day it is. Right, Run Britannia has been going for 7 days. In that time, we've run 248 miles. You're meant to have run that, but I've done some more miles because I've taken some wrong turns.
Oh, do you know what? We didn't even think about potential wrong turns and optional out and backs that you might have done. So let's cover from the start and everything. Like, you know, what was like day 1 like? What was the mood like? Were people nervous? What was that first day when you kind of set off?
To be honest, everybody was just super cool, and it was a little bit of an anticlimax because they don't put the Land's End sign up, do they? You've got to pay for it to be put up, and they only put it up between 11 and 4, and we were starting at 8. So we had the crap Land's End sign, the rubbish one, to have our photo taken by, and there was no one there, and nobody cared, which is a theme for the whole week. There was no one
that's
there,
the theme.
And nobody cared.
For anyone doing any ultras. No one cares. It's just no one's caring on a much bigger scale for you.
Exactly. And people are like, oh, are you up for a jog? And you're like, and then we've decided that when people say, where are you running to? We'd say, John o' Groats, because it made us look cool. But actually, we've given up on doing that now. We're just like, no, we're just ready to Bristol. We're just ready to Bridgewater. But the first 3 days were really great. It was all along the Southwest Coast Path. It was really super, super hilly. Exactly like people, well, I don't know if people listening to this know the Southwest Coast Path, but it's from Land's End up the top, the northern part. The weather was amazing. If anything, it was too hot. Hang on a minute, my earpiece is falling out. It was just lovely. And it's hard, don't get me wrong, like it is brutal. The terrain's brutal, and we did 35 miles a day. But everybody was in really good spirits. There was a couple of issues with heat, exhaustion. But to be honest with you, everybody was just doing brilliantly. And everyone still is doing brilliantly. But it's a very odd experience because you kind of... Yesterday I did 46 miles. Everybody else did 42. But you're kind of like, why do I feel so tired? It's only 46 miles. And you very quickly forget the day before you just like pushed yourself to the limit of endurance. Then you have to sleep on a hard bed in a youth hostel, and then you go out and do it all again. And so it's kind of a learning curve. And I think today, because today's first rest day, everybody's in a little bit of sort of shock and doesn't really know what to do with themselves.
Yeah.
Like, what do you do? I'm drinking as much chocolate milk as I can, eating as many cakes as I can. I'll have a nap, I'm going to do some work, and then that's it. But yeah, it's been amazing. It's the group that we're with, the group of people that we've got are just absolutely brilliant. There's no one there that's a knob apart from me, and everybody's just so lovely and kind and looking after each other. It's like you're it's like Big Brother, I guess. Like you're in a Big Brother type bubble.
I mean, that's a good analogy until it gets further on. And then Big Brother then you voting people off as people start getting injured and holding everyone back. All of a sudden, you're losing people at Warrington. You're losing people, further on. Is that Big Brother turns bad normally?
No, I don't think. I did think that yesterday. I basically had a bit of paranoia yesterday that everybody thought I was a dick, and then it went away.
You don't need to be paranoid about that.
Because I asked them and they said, yeah, we do think you're a dick. And I just was honest. They all ran away from me. And then Spike sent me a message.
I thought you'd put...
Spike sent me a message going... Oh, go on.
No, I thought that you said it was a group of do-badders. Normally you say that you've got a conglomerate of dicks there, which makes the dickishness absolutely fine because everyone's on the same level.
No, I'm more of a knob. And but yesterday, Spike sent me a message and he was like, Allie, why are you running a different way to everybody else? And I'm like, what? He's like, you're not, everybody else on a different route. And I'm like, what? And he's like, you're on the original route because we changed the route a little bit yesterday. And I'm like, I know what route I'm on, Spike. I'm following I'm on my route, just leave me alone. But then I thought everybody else has gone on a different route because they don't like me. So they've taken a different route because they don't like me.
Day 7.
And
amazing.
And they don't want to run with me, really. So that's why. And that went on for about an hour. Then after that, I was running across this field and there was all these bits of old black bin bags I thought were dead bodies. I really thought they were. I was like jumping back from them because I thought they were rolled up dead bodies. And then we went on the Monarch's Way and it was the worst experience of my life, bar none. I've had proper mental health crises, but the Monarch's Way is worse than that.
Sorry, worse than Portsmouth Bin Marathon route? It was worse than that?
No, Monarch's Way is it was horrible. Why would anyone do that to themselves, ever? Like, why? It's just it was the worst. But we are having a proper lovely time. I don't know whether this is going to change, and I don't know whether it will get to the end of the day, week 2, because it's 5 weeks this, and we'll be like, fuck this, or whether it will just keep going on being lovely. Because you do wake up in the morning, you've got a job to do, you need to cover those miles, and then you cover them, and then you have your dinner, and you're having a laugh, and then the same thing happens over and over again. It's like a lovely, fun, hippie style traipse. Look, here's Lorna.
Oh, hello.
Got her shorts on. Look at the colour of Lorna.
Is she asking you for stuff?
No, she's not asking me for stuff. But look at the colour of her. She looks like a withered old handbag. I get mute here. Ow, because we forgot yesterday that UV rays can get through grey cloud. And so all of us... And also, the Monarch's Way has attacked us like a Bengal cat, so all of our legs are completely shredded. Yesterday was tough. Yesterday was the lowest elevation day. My watch said it was 8,000 feet. It wasn't. It was about 3. So it was the lowest elevation day, but it was the hardest. I think probably because it was the end of the week. But the nav is just... That's the thing. If anyone's going to go out and actually do the Run Britannia event, learn how to nav, because it's so exhausting constantly looking at your watch.
Yeah. And
half the trails aren't marked, and it is on the South West Coast Path, and it is on the Monarch's Way, and it is on this and it is on that, but it's so hard, especially around as you come into Bristol through the Mendips. Like, I found it extremely difficult, and I used to live it, so
yeah.
It just makes you real tired. But yeah, everyone's cracking on. Some people are a little bit broken, but we've got physio today, so they're getting fixed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so, what have the days looked like then? So you say you've been getting up relatively early, running solidly, or running and stopping for lunch or anything, or what the days actually look like from start to finish?
A typical day is we get up at 6:30. We have breakfast at 7:30 because we're in youth hostel, so they present us with breakfast at 7:30, and then usually we're in the vehicle by 8, running by 7:30 latest.
Okay. And
then it's taken us between 6.5 and 12 hours a day, 12 hours for like the 40-mile plus day. And we have a pit stop every 10K, every 10 miles usually. We have more on the long day. And so at the pit stops, I think on average people are taking 5 to 10 minutes, and then lunchtime pit stop, maybe 15 to have a sandwich. but the catering has been next level brilliant, and it's all like Jim from Rat Race plus one other. They've been making us sandwiches. They've been making us big old lasagnas. They've been making us puddings.
Nice.
We've eaten loads, but obviously we are all still in calorie deficit because it's pretty difficult to eat what we're running off. But I don't think I've ever been to an event that's been better catered, to be quite frank. You ask for it, they get it for you. It's pretty amazing. I've eaten about 9 family-sized bags of fruit pastels in the last 7 days. They're my new jam.
And so
I just ordered 90 gels from Mountain Fuel, 90 to be delivered to Preston.
That'll be like a week's worth.
These are going down well. I'll have these. So yeah, it's just really difficult to get the food in, to be honest.
And then so what time are you kind of generally finishing? And then what does the kind of afternoon evening routine look like on a running day?
Because everyone's different paces, we are we sort of spread out a little bit, but we all come in within the hour.
Oh, okay.
It was different yesterday because yesterday was a long day. We all come in within the hour. We can't go anywhere until everyone's in because we obviously have to get in the vehicle and drive to the accommodation.
Yeah.
So usually we'll get back between sort of 6:30, 7:30, have a shower, eat about 8, in bed, asleep by 9. And actually everyone is being so grown up. We are having such a laugh, Jody. We are crying with laughter most days, but no one has touched a drop of alcohol, which really surprises me. Everyone's on the alcohol-free beers. We're all like going to bed at 9 o'clock like good girls and boys, sometimes 10. Whoa. And then getting up at 6:30, and it's just like a well-oiled machine. Everyone just cracks on with it. I think it's because the people that are doing it have got some experience and are just lovely people. I think if you got a bad egg in the basket, you'd have a problem.
Yeah, wow.
But we're just so lucky. But I mean, if you'd come, it would be completely different. It would be like whinging. It would be
whinge.
up till like.
I don't. You remember? I don't do. You always expect me to be like whingy running. I whinge outside of running. When I'm running, I'm absolutely fine.
Okay. Well, yeah.
What's Lorna? Lorna knows I don't
behind
whinge.
our backs. Lorna's gone to see her mum now. She's not interested in this conversation. But yeah, we're just really lucky that everybody is kind of. There hasn't been any rows yet, and we actually broached the subject of what if we fall out with each other. But I don't honestly think we will. I think it's all like just. Right, I'm sitting on someone else's bed. I'm sitting on Rachel's bed. I've got this milkshake. In my head, I'm saying, do not spill the milkshake on a bed. Do not spill the milkshake on a bed.
I mean, that would look pretty disgusting in a youth hostel. You walk into a bed and there's brown liquid all over your mattress.
It's been a dirty protest in room 4.
What are you, Amber
Room
Heard?
4 dirty protest. She says it's chocolate milkshake, but there's a lot of it.
So yeah, I suppose the whole not drinking thing, that does make sense in terms of because I one of the probably big issues it's going to be for people is problem with the stomach or anything, because that's the only thing that could really feet and tummy issues. Has anyone suffered from feet or tummy issues? The kind of the big killers.
So this is really interesting. Amanda, I'm gonna just walk you around the room because I know this is going to be on YouTube, but they can't hear because I've got my headphones in. Amanda, here we're giving each other nicknames. So Amanda's, what's your nickname? The Witch, because she's given everybody this ankle anterior thing, and now all their ankles are all massive. And then over there is Rachel, and we've given her the nickname The Ghost, because you'll be at an aid station chatting to her, you'll turn around and she's gone, and she's just run off on her own. There was a point to this, and I've totally forgot what it was. What was the question again?
People suffering from foot or
people suffering from stuff. So I've had Amanda has had a foot thing, which meant that she hasn't been able to run for 3 days, but it's getting better. It was an infection in her foot, and it blew up like Elephant Man. It was like gout. It was like gout.
Not as painful. I'm sure it wasn't as painful.
It wasn't as painful as your gout, and obviously you were the first person in the UK to
I
get gout.
invented yes.
Yeah, you invented it. But it was big. It looked great. But she'll be back in the game on Monday, and Rachel suffered a bit with the heat. We all suffered with the heat, but I think she's come through the other side of it now. I think she's now a heat expert, and everybody has got sore feet, and the boys. But so the witch, she has now cursed all the boys. They've got the same injury, which is this thing on their foot. Like, it looks like they've done the shoes up too tight.
You've synchronised injuries. I didn't realise that was a thing.
I think it's because we're all going down. The Southwest Coast path is really rutted, and you're going down on your ankles a lot.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, but I mean, I haven't suffered with anything apart from a bad back, like an old woman. But it's interesting. I think people break in a bit, and then next week they'll break a bit more, and then towards the end of next week they'll be all right again.
Yeah, your body takes a couple of weeks.
Mentally,
we're used to it.
Yeah, but mentally we are all like 100% in the game. No, we had this conversation yesterday. At no point has anyone gone, I'm not going to make it. Like, even when you're in real pain and people are in real pain, wet feet yesterday on the Monarch's Way, everybody was in real pain. And it's the sort of thing that in an event you may well pull out, but in this it's like, no, I won't. And it's not bloody mindedness, and it's not, oh, I don't want to pay to do it again. It's a weird, like, I have to get this job done type thing, and everyone's supporting each other, and everyone wants each other to win. There is no person here that is, you can get people that are a bit alpha and a bit of a dick.
Yeah.
There's none of that. There's none of it. Yeah. Everybody wants everyone else to win, and like Amanda's coped the last 3 days like so well because she's just crude. Whereas if it was me that was out for 3 days, I would be a horrible bitch. I would be horrible.
Sabotaging it. Go on,
brilliant.
Eat this. I promise you that there's no laxative in it in any way.
Have you got a bad tummy ache? Would you like some more of this nice water? Yeah. Don't spill the milkshake.
So what has the thing is, when you look at all this on social media, it looks incredible in terms of the Southwest Coastal Path. Like you're all together and things like that. It typical kind of social media that it looks really enjoyable and easy and fun and full of bants and laughter and everything else, which I suppose it kind of needs to, doesn't it, in order to encourage people to do it as well. I was going to ask you whether anyone has had that kind of wobble yet, but the other thing is, you predicted other people, injuries and stuff that people were suffering from before. Have any of those come true? Or is anyone struggling with the kind of injuries that you were predicting that they would have at this point?
No. There are people have struggled, and there has been times where people are like, I'm going to have a bit of a cry when I get home tonight, and I think they have had a bit of a cry when they've got home. But the thing about the social media, because I was thinking about this, I'm like, am I portraying this as too easy? And the answer is,
absolutely. I'm looking at it going, I should be doing that.
Yeah, but that's what I want. I want people to say they should be doing it, because nobody here is an elite endurance athlete. Nobody. It's really, really hard. If it wasn't hard, everyone would do it. But it's about it. We're such a tight group already that we're all supporting each other. If I couldn't do this on my own, I think I would have given up. I think I would have gone, my back's too bad. But the camaraderie of everyone lifting each other up, it is hard. I'm telling you now, this is not something that a novice, someone that's only done a few trail marathons could do. It's just not. It's just not. But I'm showing it exactly the way it is. I'm having the time of my life. I'm so happy at the moment. If I feel like I could do this forever. That will probably change, and I think it will change when I really start to miss home and start to miss Pickle in week 3. I'm seeing her next week, so I'll be buoyed up again. But I think week 3 will be really interesting. At the moment, I feel like we're all still in the honeymoon period.
Yeah.
But maybe it won't be like that. Maybe it will just be amazing.
Because how's everyone coping with either like not working or not seeing their families and anything else? Has there been anything around that? Because I think that's the thing that probably would put a lot of people off, or would think, I could never do this because I couldn't be away from my family for this, or I could never take that amount of work off. Are there any feelings of guilt, anything else like that, or like you said, is it still honeymoon period and people are okay?
Okay, when you think about it, right? When you get, when you're a bit younger or even a bit older, and you decide to go on a gap year or take a sabbatical from work, you have it in planning for ages, right? So you're like, I'm going to take 5 weeks off work. You don't just take 5 weeks off work and then 6 months later go and do it. usually it's a few years, and this has been 3 years in the making. So people have been excited about this for 3 years. It's like a once in a lifetime thing. It's like traveling to Australia. You know, you're only going to do it once, or doing something really enormous. So it's funny because Ross was like, "Oh, I promised my boss I'd work on Wednesdays." Today he's phoned him up and gone, "I'm not working on Wednesdays because I need to rest." And the guilt's gone. He's like, "I just need to focus on me." And I think that a lot of people come out of this, a lot of the people when they go and do the actual event will come out of this like, it's important for me to spend time focusing on me, because it makes me into a better partner, a better husband, a better dad, mum, a better worker. And this has been in planning for a really long time. So it's not just, there's a lot of people saying, "Oh, how do you take 5 weeks off work?" You just fucking take 5 weeks off work. You just say to your clients or to your boss, "I want a sabbatical, I'm going to do it next year, is that okay?" You save up some money and you do it. If you can't save up the money, and if your boss says no, get another job that pays more and save up some money. Like, if you really want to do it, just go and do it. It's not just an off-the-cuff thing. People didn't decide to do this last week. They decided to do it 2 or 3 years ago. And the same with the people on the event. They signed up for it 2 or 3 years ago. They're paying it in installments. They're going in 2023 or 24. Some people are signed up for 25, 26. So it's not an off-the-cuff thing. And it's like anything you do to change your life, you know, like it's just planning, just fucking plan it. But I think everyone here is having such a great time, but learning so much about themselves as well, like learning to let go of stuff, not worry about stuff, and take time for themselves. And I just think that's quite an invaluable thing to do, and I'd recommend it to anyone. That's why I go and do this stuff, because it's my time to look after me.
Has there been one of the things we talked about in when we talked about this in the last Bad Stuff? It were environmental factors, locals, dickheads, that kind of stuff. Have you had any issues with that in your first 7 days?
Mainly cows. But met some nice farmers and some not so nice ones.
Really? Why?
Cows,
you chased off land or something?
No, the cows are chased us off land, and we've had to change the route because the cows' babies are in fields, and they are absolute bastards. So the South West Coast Path was fine because there's no one on it.
Yeah.
There's just a few walkers, and everyone's lovely. Then you get down to Somerset. That's when it starts, and you're running through farmland land, and it's all public rights of way, and it's all public footpaths, it's all OS maps. But the farmers gate it off, put electric fences around it, put like bull in field signs. You go up, we marked out a drove just outside Cheddar yesterday to run up. Got there, someone's put up a sign saying private drove, no right of way. I'm pretty sure it was permissive path, but they've taken the permission away, and they can on a permissive path at any point. We've met a couple of lovely farmers, a couple of people that shouted at us, "You shouldn't be on that side of the fence." And it's like, we're following this. We're just literally running down the side of the field. And I know that recently they've recommended who is it? It was some sort of thing in Parliament, said farmers shouldn't shout, "Get off my land." They should say, "Hello, are you lost?" and be helpful. But some of them just don't fucking want you on their land and will do anything to stop you. And so we haven't met, to be honest with you, the worst experience I had was in Bristol last night when I went outside for a walk, and 2 blokes shouted at me, "All right, love, fancy giving me a blowjob?" And I was like, how lovely.
Wow, what a chat-up line.
I know, I politely declined the offer, and I tried to think of a witty comeback, but then I was too tired, so I was in my pyjamas. I was wearing my pyjamas and fluffy socks and a pair of sliders and had no makeup on. So in a way, I should have just thought, still got it. And a couple of blokes honking their horns on the road.
There's news of Ultra Totty, it precedes you.
It's spreading far and wide. Yeah. And a couple of blokes like in cars coming past, honking their horns and being like, "Oi, oi," and it's like, you really don't want to have sex with me, I think. But whatever. So does that even work? Oh, has that ever worked for you? Has anyone ever gone, "Stop the car, stop the car"? Oh, the thing is, I'd love to go out on a date with you.
The thing is, it's like you have like those Nigerian scams, and you get so many of them, and you think these can't work. This can't work with anyone. They must work with someone because they still keep using them. They must have had some kind of success with that approach that has meant that they're going to persist with it. It's utterly ridiculous that they do it, and utterly awful. But they must have had some kind
But also,
of
have you ever met
success.
anyone? Have you ever met anyone and said, "Oh wow, how did you meet your husband?" "Oh, he hollered at me out of a white van." No. He shouted, "Nice tits, love," and I just thought,
What's the
"Wow,
story
what a
of you
guy."
coming together, telling that one at the wedding, and when he shouted that.
When he shouted, "Get your tits out for the lads," I chortled and thought, "What? That's the sort of man I want to be with."
Well, you don't. The thing is,
I don't know.
really...
No, the answer is we haven't had any real bad problems with people yet. I'm waving these scissors around because I don't want to sit on them again.
That's good. That's good. And so, what about actually like resting and sleeping? How is sleeping? Because whenever I've done like multi-days and things like that, I've always found sleep a little bit difficult, the first couple of days, and then not a problem after that. How has sleep been? Because you've also got the added element of being in youth hostels, and youth hostels aren't normally the quietest of places, and you've got people coming and going and everything else like that. How kind of has sleep been? Or doing that thing where you get up, where you desperately need a wee because you've drunk so much water beforehand. That one as well. That's really annoying.
We've got bunk beds. Look, prison.
Oh, wow.
So there's always a debate of who's going to have to go on the top, because it's getting out of bed in the night is awful. It's like something like SAS Who Dares Wins. But it's been all right because we get in. We're all really good. We get in. We sort our packs. We have a shower. We've all got it down. I'm in a dorm with the girls. There's the boys' dorm. Don't know what the fuck goes on in there, but I've heard stories. And they've all got the same foot disease. So I don't know what they've been doing to each other. But with us, we've got the showers down to 10 minutes. We've got this. Everyone's got their like massage guns and is doing that. We are really good at just going to bed. And like we know that some people that some people do their bags for a little bit longer than others. There's some crunching noises, but you're just like, this is how it is. And also, you're so knackered, you do just go to sleep. The problem I've had is the beds. I miss my bed, I miss my dog, and the beds are youth hostel beds, and my back has been absolutely killing me. So if I have to go to the toilet, I have to roll off the bottom bunk onto the floor like a slug, like crawl my way to the door before I can actually get up, which is nice. But all in all, like, sleep is really good because you're absolutely knackered. We're running average 35 miles a day, and we're not walking it, we are running it. We're doing it in between 6.5 and 8.5 hours. So we've been pretty speedy. I think average pace has been between 13-minute miles, 16-minute miles, which doesn't sound very fast, but when you see those hills, especially the ones between Bude and Tintagel, like I was told the worst part of the coast path was between Land's End and St Ives, but it's not. It's between Bude and Tintagel. It is absolutely nightmare. It's so hilly. It's very beautiful, but it is absolutely exhausting. And you mentioned the stomach thing before, and that's the other thing, is learning what you can and can't eat. I've been having mountain fuel shakes at every stop, and trying not to eat anything with too much fibre in because it will upset my stomach. But then Jim got me a veggie sausage the other morning, and I had it, and that was the biggest mistake I'd made of the whole trip, because it was just like, nope. So it's like, this is awful, but it's like, especially girls, but it's like learning your toilet routine, like who needs a poo when, and make sure that people have their poo time and all that sort of stuff. And there's a lot of really gross things, but we're all sleeping well. We're all really looking after each other. And the worst thing is when someone is like, I don't feel well, or I think I've got heat stroke, or my foot hurts, or you just want to help them and you just can't help them. The medics here,
I thought you could say,
them, but
you don't want to hang around with them because they're just slowing you down.
You might catch it.
You can't just leave them on the trail.
Yeah, you don't want the witch to give it to you. You don't want the witch to curse you with whatever she's got. But you just want people to win, and you want them to be okay. And like the other day, Lorna said to me yesterday, classic Lorna, pit stop 1, I don't think I can do this. And I'm like, yes, you can. What can I do to help you? All I could do was give her a pair of socks because her feet were really wet. Then she got this second win, and she finished about 25 minutes before I did. She just absolutely smashed it.
It's all mind games with Lorna. It's all mind games. She's never ever in trouble. She's just playing everyone. Incredible.
I 100% agree with you. She just fucking wants to win.
She just wants to win. She's keeping tally. She'll watch. She doesn't watch any. Doesn't listen to any episodes. Doesn't watch anything back. She'll watch this because she was in this for about 4 seconds, just to
Actually, she watched all my Insta stories yesterday, and she laughed at two of them. So, also,
the ones where you got lost.
There is this, on trial.
I've got an advantage over you.
Yeah, well, she fell over yesterday, so she fell over in the bushes. Apparently, she was on her back like a tortoise and couldn't get up.
There is nothing quite as pathetic as being towards the end of an ultra and falling over and just being in that situation where you're like, do I have to get up? I do have to get up. Can I get up? I don't know if I can even do this. There are so many variables here, whereas normally people go, I'm just going to get up.
It's like a scene from one of those war films where you're like rolling around the floor, clawing at the earth on your own, with just cows watching
on your own, hoping.
Going, oh, that's brilliant.
And so, what about logistics and stuff? Because I saw that in some of the social media, there are ferries to get across and things like that. How has that worked in terms of timings and stuff like that?
Well, because it's test pilot, we're testing everything. I'm quite keen on testing if you can drive the route, because that would be nice than running it. But
no, it wouldn't. Not in summer. Not around this time. I went to Hellard's wedding and drove back, and the traffic is a nightmare. It's quicker running. It would have been quicker running.
I said that yesterday when we got to Bristol. I was like, I cannot believe we have run from Land's End to Bristol in 7 days. This is absolutely amazing. And Jim was like, you could drive that faster. And I was like, no, you couldn't. You couldn't drive it faster. It would still take you 7 days because the traffic's so fucking shit. But so the first day was Land's End to Portreath. So there's that bit that goes around Hale. It's horrible, and we were like, we don't want to go around Hale. If the tide's low enough, we'll cut through the beach where there's like a little estuary.
Oh yeah.
So we waded up to our waists through that, but it cut off a good 2 miles that are horrible and ugly. There's just an industrial estate, so you don't want to run around it.
No, exactly.
So we're doing stuff like that, like can we beat the tide and get across? And if we can, and they can do that on the event, we'll get the Coast Guard to set up some ropes and we'll just rope people across. With Padstow to wherever it was that day, you have to get the ferry from Padstow across that bay, or else you're going to have to add a good 6 miles running, and that will make it a 40-odd mile day. And it's not even nice running, so you just get the ferry straight across. That's the only day we'll do that. There'll be no more ferries.
That's the only way. Okay.
Yeah, because we just want people to be able to start on the other side. So that's always going to be part of the route. And also, people are coming on this massive adventure to see the UK. One of the things this is doing is showing me, and I've lived in the UK my whole life, how amazing and beautiful the UK is. It really is, and we don't give it credit. It's absolutely stunning. And so to be able to go and, have a ferry ride from Padstow and wade through the estuary at Hale and see the white beaches of like Portawan, and they train like the SAS up at Perranporth on those dunes to run across those, or attempt to run across them. It's absolutely stunning. The UK is an absolutely beautiful place to live, especially the routes we're doing. They are tough. I reckon 80% trail this week, 20% road. And I'm
going to ask you this. I'm going to ask you the same question. I'm going to ask you the same question about this. I think isn't it like end of week 2, start of week 3 or something? That kind of. I don't know if that's around some of the most beautiful parts of the UK as well. When you're going through the northwest.
I'm going to tell you, I've got the thing up, right. So next week, we visit Monmouth, nice. Hay-on-Wye, nice. Bishop's Castle, nice. Ellesmere, nice. Frodsham, nice. Whittle Woods, nice. That's where it's... Oh, no, hang on, then we go to the lakes. So Lancaster,
Yeah, there is going to be like 5 days, which is pretty horrible.
Yeah.
But I guess... I've quite enjoyed doing the road bits because they take away... The trail's so hard to navigate and it's so gnarly and overgrown and rocky and horrible.
Yeah.
But it just is what it is. And the thing is, we are going to get to we're going to get to Scotland and then we get up to the West Highland Way and that's the last week. So really, in my head, the last week doesn't count because it's a glory lap and it's like, it's going to be so epic. So I'm like, not worried about that. And this route has really surprised me. When we got to Bristol, I was like, I know the way from Cheddar to Bristol.
Yeah.
It wasn't the route I thought it was going to be. They put it all on trail. So they are constantly surprising us with their little wibbles and quibbles. And And it's really interesting. I'll tell you what else I've realised. There are loads of fucking rich people in the UK because the houses are massive everywhere.
Well, yeah, I suppose coastal ones are going to be. Coastal ones and, I can imagine.
They're massive. They're everywhere. And people have got money. I feel like making some flyers a la Hellard and putting single 40-year-old lady looking widower for fun times, maybe more, in the letterboxes. That's a good idea.
Maybe you should. What you should do? Maybe you should just hang her out outside, and when they drive out, you just go, "Want a blowjob?" Because if it works for men, it's got to work for women.
That's a good idea. Instead of showing your tits love, look at my tits love. Show them.
Offer them. Is this how you take back power from that? I'm not sure it's the right approach, but it's an attempt.
Well, it would be really interesting. They'd be like, "What? It's like, how does that make you feel? Does it make you feel horrible?" Yeah, that's how I feel all the time. Thanks. Good idea. I'm gonna start doing it. I'll test it in Wigan. We're thinking of inviting the Wigan runner to run the first 5K out of Wigan.
That would be incredible. So, have other do-badders turned up? Kind of like how much kind of additional support and everything? I can sort of tell that there have been images and things like that.
I'm so proud of BBR because the only people that come to see us have been BBR. I mean, that doesn't really say much, does it? But Lawrence has been out with us. Lawrence and his dog Tenzing.
His dog's called Tenzing.
Has come out. Yeah, his dog's called Tenzing.
Fucking hell, that's good.
Very cute dog. Paul Jukes has been out to see us.
Yep.
He's going to come and see us today in Bristol. And then yesterday we had Max came out to see us. Spike's been out to see us. There's been a few do-badders. And we're in Bristol today, so there's a few coming down. I'm going to go for lunch with Spike and maybe see Paul for dinner. But they've just been so lovely. Who else? Oh, Maria White came around with us, and then a girl called Gabrielle ran with us last week. Sarah and Cara are running with us next week. But if anyone listening wants to run a little section, just message me on Instagram and say where you live. You do need to be able to run 30 miles relatively comfortably and self-sufficiently, and you need to be able to get there and get yourself back. But we'll support you on the day with like water and stuff. But having people run with us has been so lovely because we do love each other, but we don't really run together. We sort of spread out.
Yeah.
Whereas if someone's come to run with us, they'll chat to us, and the day goes past quite quickly. So I felt pretty shit yesterday, just mentally a bit like down and sad. And then Spike came along for like
and then it got worse.
3 hours. And I thought to myself, could be worse. Could be running with him for 30 days, and I'm not. So it was all right. But it was just really, it was really nice to see. It's really nice to see people, and it just. The thing is, really, ultimately, you feel like no one really cares. And that's okay. I'm really learning to be comfortable with the fact I'm doing this for me and not for anyone else. But just having a few familiar faces, I'm really looking forward to seeing Pickle next week. And even if Pickle's a dog. And seeing Sarah and Cara, it just keeps you going. And having those little buffers of, just got to get to this day, just got to get to that day, that's really helpful.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And has anything... Go on.
Go on.
No. I want to hear your question first.
We should do this again in like 2 weeks. It'd be really interesting to do it again in 2 weeks.
No, I think so.
See if anything's changed. If it hasn't, I'll just go, nothing's changed, and that'll be the end of it.
Because you know everything that we said. I'll hold you to each of these things. You said that, a week ago, that this was the greatest group of people that you could imagine. How do you feel about that now? Fucking hell, why am I on this? No. Is there anything that has surprised you? So you've mentioned like how beautiful UK is. Anything about surprised you either about the experience itself or anything that's happened differently than you would have expected based on your previous experience running, doing multi-day events, etc.?
Just how organised everyone is and how willing everyone is to, this sounds ridiculous, but play by the rules. Because the rules being, you get up at 6:30. If you want your feet done, it's 7 o'clock to see the medic. 7:30 is breakfast. 8 o'clock in the van. And everyone has been so good. Everyone's been 10 minutes early downstairs. Bags fully packed because we're staying in different places every night. So it's a lot of like kit faff. this is going to happen at this time. People are there 10 minutes early. This is going to happen, and no one whinges. So if someone finishes an hour, if the first person in finishes an hour before the last person in, they're cool with that. They'll stay they'll wait in the van. They have a stretch. They'll go get an ice cream. There's no like, oh, can you not take me back to the accommodation and come back to that person? There's none of that. It's all, and I've been really surprised by how admin savvy everybody is, because I've had experiences before where there's people that don't give a shit about time.
Yeah.
They're like, it doesn't matter if I'm 10 minutes late. And it's like, but you're really affecting the entire group. And they're like, yeah, but I'm not done doing what I'm doing. And it's like, that's not how it works in a group scenario. There's been none of that. And everyone's been super good. So that's surprised me. And I'm also surprised by how well everyone's holding up physically, even though everyone's got their little injuries. I just think that these people are incredible. I really do think they're incredible. And I want to say, anyone can give this a go, and they can, but everyone on this trip has been training for this in some way, shape or form for 3 or 4 years with their running. So they're not complete newbies, but they're also not major experienced multi-day ultra runners. So let's see what happens in week 2 and 3, if we can all keep it up. But I'm just super, super impressed. And I think because everyone's so impressed with everyone else, the mental thing is really good, and everyone's like, I'm going to do my best not to get injured, and I'm going to do my best to do the best I can, and all that sort of stuff. So it's about camaraderie, looking after each other, and that's why these things are amazing. I've spent a lot of time feeling very lonely, like no one understands me, or like, I don't know, mainly that I'm not good enough to fit in. And with this, it's all stripped back. You are exactly the person, you're just who you are. There's no pretending, because people see you 24 hours a day. And it's just lovely to be part of a little community of people that are just travelling together and getting on with each other and looking after each other, and know that there's no bullshit. I'm doing my social media, but there's no emails or outside pressure. Or, how much do you earn? What job have you got? What car have you got? There's none of that. It's just, we're all here doing the same thing, and we're all looking after each other while we're doing it. So if the world were to end, I would want these people to be on my squad, because they're just brilliant. All of them are amazing.
See, the thing is, when I think about because I've talked about this before, but I think about the races that I like the most, the things I like the most, and it's multi-day events, and I do think it is the kind of the group aspect to the multi-day event that makes it as good as it is, because it's just a series of runs, isn't it? It's just, there's no real difference between doing that and a bunch of ultras together, but there's a physical element to it, which I like, having to get up each day and do it, but it is being part of the same group and constantly sharing that experience with them, and I don't think many things can beat that in terms of a running experience, which is why people go like fucking do Lally over MDS and stuff like that, because it's probably the first thing that they've ever done where they've had that group experience that is connected with some sort of endurance feat. And so doing that, which is why people come back from these different events like massively enthusiastic and probably slightly depressed, because they've left their little group behind and everything. So I'm not saying that that actually in 4 weeks' time, when you leave them all behind, it's going to be this massive crash, and you're going to miss them all terribly, and then you're all actually going to want to move in together in a big mansion or something like that. The other thing I really like is, you said these people who are on this aren't like massively experienced endurance athletes, and not massively experienced like multi-day. It's the type of event that once you've done it, all of a sudden you are a massively experienced ultra runner and a massively experienced multi-day runner, considering the volume that you've put in. So it's almost like a shortcut to experience.
It is. I think it is. We are already so down on our admin. Like, we have got admin down to a T. We've got those pit stop turnarounds. We're not rushing, but we can do it in 5 to 10 minutes each. There's no messing about there. I think that you will come out of it. So my big thing after this is Dragon's Back, and this is giving me so much confidence for those long days and recovery, what to eat, what to drink, how to do it quickly and quietly, so that you don't wake up people when they're sleeping. It's such good practice. So yeah, everyone will come out of this like proper multi-day experience, and we've got all these little tricks and tips and stuff that to share with people, which I won't share now because I'll make people pay me for them.
There's always a way to monetize it. That's what you're going to be looking at. Monetize. You've got 5 weeks of potential monetization.
Yep. keep that baby nappy rash ointment a secret. Like, but yeah, that's the thing. It's a shortcut to greatness.
Shortcut to greatness.
Even if you don't finish.
Yeah.
Yeah, even if you're not going to do it every single day, you learn how to cope with disappointment. Like I said to you earlier, the way Amanda's dealt with having to be in the van for 3 days, she's crewed, she's looked after everyone, she's gone and got stuff that we needed, and she's been so positive. And I don't know if I end up in that van, I don't know if I'll be like that. I don't know if I'll be able to. I feel like I'll just be crying the whole time and have massive FOMO. But she's an example to everybody in how to deal with that. Like, she's super psyched about starting again on Monday, and we're super psyched to have her back. We're all going to be elbowing each other out the way to run with her because we've missed her. But, you know, Ross is like, I want you to be injured forever because you make the best squash. I'm like, that's not true. But yeah, we're having a proper laugh and everyone's having a great time, and I'm literally having the time of my life, so I hope that doesn't change.
Oh, that's lovely. Well, it's probably a good time to wrap it up, and I imagine that you probably want to go to sleep or have a rub down or whatever it is that you do.
I've had a rub down. I already had a rub down this morning. I'm going to have a nap, and then I'm going to go for lunch with Spike, and then I'm going to have another nap, and then I'm going to do some work.
Oh, wow. Have a lovely day. Enjoy yourself, and good luck in week 2. We'll probably catch up with you in a couple of weeks' time. See how it goes.
Catch up with us in a couple of weeks' time. I love you. Thank you for talking to me.
Thank you for talking to you. I love you as well, and good luck to everyone.
Bye!
Bye!